Okay, everybody. Riders, if you would go ahead and mount up, please. So I can't, I hope you're not being bored to death with basics, but I can't stress the basics enough. And while the riders get on, I'm going to share you with a little story. Beezy and I are presently writing the Mad Method manual, and the manual looks like it's gonna, I don't know, I think they're talking about the first volume. It's looking like 3 or 4 volumes, and it should be out in 2024, September, I think, of 2024 is the goal. So anyway, the story is real simple. I'm not trying to sell books because I don't care if we make any money from it. That's not what we're doing. We're just trying to get our methods down on paper so that, well, maybe somebody can get something out of it one day. But the story is that we have people writing it for us. And I've calmed down a lot since my youth. Lisa will tell you I was a little more volatile in the old days. But the old John came out a little bit with our ghostwriters, and I was reading some of what they did, and they were telling me what they wanted. And the old John came out a little bit because I said, you guys have been with me for 20 years. Do you think I've been lying the whole time? Because they keep trying to complicate it. And it really irritated me because I said, you guys think I've been lying this whole time, that it is that simple, that it is that basic. And of course, the stresses of thinking of writing a manual or a book that they are concerned it sells or this or that, they want to put some fluff in it or something like that, which I don't want. So even the people that have been around us for 20 years or more have a real hard time understanding that the biggest secret that we have had with any of the success that we have had is that there is no secret. That's the big secret. The biggest trick is there is no trick. And I'm not trying to tell you that it's easy. It's very, very, very difficult. One of the things I tell our students, and maybe, I don't know if it makes a lot of sense, but with horses, I haven't seen much technology that makes it easier. We all use cell phones, they're mini computers. That's a lot of technology, and it's really worth enlisting a lot of technology for all the benefits the cell phone gives us. And then I say that, and then I say, well, if you'd like to dig a swimming pool, it's probably good to have a backhoe or a bulldozer, all those kind of things, and that takes a lot of technology. But if you don't have any technology, you could still build your swimming pool if I just gave you a spoon. You could dig the swimming pool with a spoon, but it'd be a lot more difficult. So think about that with your riding. Your riding is like digging a swimming pool with a spoon. It's not complicated, but it's real hard work and takes a long time. So great. We're going to, again, appeal to our demonstrators here. And if you can imagine, the fortunate thing about a clinic session is you get a lot in a short time. And the unfortunate thing about a clinic session is you get a lot in a short time. So we're going to ask our riders to be really gracious and skip through a lot, change direction and let them walk and see the ring out of their other eye. And then I'm going to ask you to just quickly start to, not quickly, but move right along, and we'll warm up at the trot and the canter. and we'll do a little bit of an exercise with some lateral movements, but we're going to have quite abbreviated flat work, and the flat work is going to just be a warm-up. So I don't want anybody to confuse this. This is because of the clinic session. We are going to give the horses a chance to warm up properly, but because of the time and this and that, we're not going to really do an awful lot with the flat work in this session. Good. Once they've gotten settled enough walking on the rail, then I'm going to just ask you to pick up the posting trot. And just like with the other horses, we're going to think about having a relatively big box around the horse, especially at the beginning. We have a variety of horses here. We have a green 6-year-old, the gray. We have a 5-year-old, the chestnut. And we have an 8-year-old, the bay, the other bay with the white star. But that's all right because they're all at a little bit different level, and they're going to be able to help us demonstrate a little bit more. So everything there is to do with your warm-up or your flat work always comes back to your vocabulary with the horse. And your vocabulary with the horse are your aids. Your natural aids are your hands and seat and your legs. Your artificial aids are your bit, your stick, and your spurs. Speaking of sticks, who has sticks? Okay, we have one with a stick. Does your horse have a particular aversion to a stick? Okay, we're going to get you a stick. Does your horse have a particular aversion to a stick? We're going to get you a stick. Because the stick has nothing, it's a stick. A horse doesn't know the difference between a crop and a twig and something in his stall. It makes a difference how you use it, but you wouldn't put a razor blade in the hands of a monkey, but in the hands of a skilled chef, they can do great work with food preparation. So we're going to be careful, or shaving. So we're going to be very careful with the use of this stick, but it's one of your tools. And now you'll change direction. It would be a rare day that you'd see Beezy or any of our students jumping without a stick, because it's one of your tools. And it's a little bit of a gross analogy. I don't know if it's an analogy or what, but one of my sayings is, you don't cut a dog's tail off an inch at a time. And my great Polish grandmother taught me that. If you have something bad to do, you do it and you get it over with. You don't cut a dog's tail off an inch at a time. If you're going to cut their tail off, you do it in one thing. So it's a little disgusting to think about, but it's very important with the horses. We saw it in the other session, to get the horses to react to the leg, to make them quickly understand what you want so that you don't have to nag them, so that you don't develop vices, so that you don't create problems. But this group looks really good. Now your stick stays very still. It's just a tool in case you need it. Very good. And we'll take, I'm gonna have Beezy help me here just a second. Through the warm-up, you're going to give a very brief overall critique of each position so that they can do that a little bit better through the session.
Okay, I'm going to start with Claire, and I think she has quite a nice leg position. I like where the stirrup is on her foot. Her toe is turned slightly to the inside, almost on a 45-degree angle. If I had to criticize the leg at all, I'd say try to loosen up a little with your knee. That's it. And have the contact a little more on the back of your calf. That's what opening your knee does. Good. Excellent. Her seat's in the front of the saddle in the posting. Her hip angle's slightly closed. I like that. Her back is flat but relaxed. The hands, Even though we're on a very light contact, I'd like to see them carrying a little more above the withers. So bend a little more bend in your elbow. That's it. Very good. So that if you do use a little contact, you're pulling up into the corners of the horse's mouth. Becky, I'd like to see a little more bend in your knee and a little more contact with the back of your calf. That's it. The stirrup is good on the foot. And try to keep your posting a little more in the front of the saddle. That's it. Land closer to the pommel. Good. And try to keep your hips forward and your chest a little more open. I feel like you're a little roached over. There you go. Good. Excellent. And as you sit, you can almost arch your back a little more. There you go. So you keep your core a little stronger so that your seat sits in the front of the saddle. Good. That's it. And your hand position is excellent there. She has a straight line from the horse's mouth to her hand to her elbow. Carly. Try to, I think your stirrup can be a little more on the ball of your foot. It looks a little too close to your toe. That's it. And try not to every stride spur the horse. I want to see if your horse is a little too lazy, give him a little kick with the spur and then just weight your heel. That's it. Keep your leg a little stiller. Good. Your seat's good in the saddle. I'd like to see your back a little more arched as well. There you go. And the hands are good, just above and in front of the withers.
Super. So now try to carry those comments that Beezy gave you, hands a little higher, Claire. That's it. Bend your elbows. That's another way to think of it. Very good. Okay, and we'll just change direction and let the horses continue at the trot, changing direction. And you can see instantly that Beezy can diagnose a number of problems with the horses as soon as she sees the rider's position. Your horse, Carly, is not in front of your leg enough, and that's why you're having to swing your leg and kick your horse every stride. So take a moment somewhere just to liven that horse to the leg without inhibiting his forward movement. Give him a good one. That's it. That's it. Don't fall back when you do it. Let him know that was the right thing. Don't fall back on his mouth when you do it. These horses have to carry you. You can't be doing the work for them. Good. All right, and we'll let them walk. Very good. Give them a little bit of a breather. And I can't thank our demonstrators enough, because this is not how it would always be. So they're having to pick up right where the flat work session left off. So they're having to jump right into this because of our time constraints. But it'll be very constructive. It's okay. Good. And we'll change direction and get the left lead. Just change direction anywhere where it's easy. We're just warming the horses up. That's all we're doing now, because we have a lot of material to cover. Because we want to let our audience see a little bit about what Beezy and I are concerned about with jumping and the technique of jumping and what the horses have to do. Beezy, that's it. And if your horse is carrying you just around this ring, even as impressive it is, you should be able to work in your half seat. That's very good, Claire. Very good. Everybody in their half seat is very good. Whoop. Yep, stay on. Good job, stay on. Head up, head up. That's it. Lean back and wrench that head up when the horse gets his head down and tries to buck you off. It's okay. You just spooked a little bit. Especially when you have the tools to handle it, Becky. Good. Just let the horses settle in, moving forward. Forward is your friend. Let the horses settle in, moving forward. Very good. Becky, light seat, but that doesn't mean your balance has to be in front of the horse, huh? Light seat, but keep your balance right with the center of gravity, not getting in front, not getting behind. Very good. And we'll let them walk. Relax your arm, bring them back. Very good, Carly. And change direction. We'll canter a little bit on the right lead. Good. Light seat, Claire. Very good. We really want these horses to be carrying you, riders. If you feel like you have to be using seat in this easy warm-up, that means your horse is not in front of your leg enough. And you want to make sure your horse is nicely in front of your leg. If the horse isn't carrying you around the outside of the ring with a very big box, then you have to do like Carly did and wake the horse up and put the horse in front of your leg. Very good. Very good. Light seat, Becky. That's all right. Maybe keep going, keep going, keep going. Head up, keep going. Light seat and light leg. He doesn't have to canter perfectly. Here, light seat, light leg. Be careful not to prick him with those spurs. That's it. And the other two can walk, and we'll have Becky make another lap. Carly and Claire, you can walk. Good. Keep working on lighter contact with the mouth, Becky. Lift the head, lift and let go. Lift and let go. Light seat, light leg. Very good. And position and ask him to walk. Position, soft hand, give. Now, Becky told me her horse is a little bit energetic and likes to get to work with the job. So that's important, Becky, that you have your horse in front of your leg, but that you're very careful with it, right? He has to accept the contact, that you have the grip, the contact with the leg, that you have the grip that you need to stay on and keep you doing a good job. But you have to be really, really careful you don't give him any inadvertent leg or spur by accident. Good. So now, one of the things we do a lot of is pole work. You can call it, they're not really cavalettis because a cavaletti is up off the ground, but we do a lot of work with poles on the ground, and we're going to use a pole to set up the gymnastic. So we're going to introduce these horses to these 3 poles on the ground just by simply walking over them. And we'll start with Carly. You can just come down the center of the ring and just walk your horse over these 3 poles. And the next 2 can follow. Not too tight and not too close. And that's excellent. As you get to the pole, it's your job to keep your balance in the center of with the center of gravity, moving with the horse, and you let the horse find their own way. Very little to no contact. Remember Beezy's demonstration of the little X. Here, if you need to guide your horse, fine, but then give, Claire. Good, and you're going to change directions, Carly, and come back the other direction over the poles on the ground. So right now what we're doing is testing and making sure all the horses can do a simple pole on the ground. We're not going to go to a gymnastic with a setup pole before we know the horses can do it. We have some horses that never learn to do it. And sometimes then you just give up. Decide the fight is not worth it. Give. Very good. In the old days, we would have trained the horse forever till they could do cavalettis and do them well. But some of these modern horses, I'm not so sure it's worth the fight. Good. And give. That's it, Claire. Very good. Be careful, even there. This is very simple, but be careful that your balance doesn't go ahead of the motion, Claire. Good. And let him pick his way, Becky. Very good. And then starting with Carly, we'll trot through the rails on the ground. You can do off a right turn, then you'll make a left turn after the rails. This is where sometimes it gets more interesting. A lot of them will walk a single rail, but sometimes they want to jump when you're trotting. And give, all you're concerned with is giving and staying with the motion. Keep the rhythm, give, and with the motion. Claire, you want to get ahead of the motion, with the motion, not ahead, not behind. Give with the motion. Give with the motion, rhythm. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's all you do. Don't look for a distance. Let the horse find his way. Rhythm, let the horse find his way with the motion. That was much better, Claire. Much better. Give and with the motion. And one more time, and then Carly, I'm going to ask you to hold up after you do it this time. Let the horse find its way. You just keep the balance with the rhythm. Good. Very good. So we have really good demonstrators and really good horses to do it with here, so we're able to move along quickly. But we would do this with a 4-year-old or 3-year-old. Don't forget, the horses don't know what shouldn't be normal for them. We're going to give the horses a tiny break right now. The horses don't know what normal is when they're young. So we have a field about, 25 acres or so. One time when Mr. Southern came to visit, he said, no wonder you win so much at Spruce Meadows. You built the damn field right here. It has all the natural obstacles and everything. And our baby horses do we have everything that they can't get in trouble. But I explained to Becky, the woman that does a lot of work with our young horses, they don't know that they should be nervous about a Liverpool. They don't know that they should be nervous about a ditch. They don't know they should be nervous about a bank. And that's something that Frank Chapeau taught me early. His baby horses did all those things very easily because right now, everything is foreign. If you have a 4-year-old that's doing everything, or you just break a 3-year-old, everything's foreign to them. Everything. A stall, the cross ties, the trailer, everything is foreign to them. So why do we make it that they get so used to everything that we have to keep reintroducing foreign things to them? When they're learning early, they don't know what to be scared of and what not to be scared of. And they all react, they're scared, they're either scared of everything or bold about everything or whatever the character of that horse is. They manifest it the same way with every new thing. So keep teaching them a lot of variety, a lot of new things. Because once you get through that, then everything becomes simple for them. So we're going to do this exercise just to see a little bit the control and that we're sure we're ready to take on the next step. So I'm going to ask you, Carly, you're going to be the leader, and you're going to start from the right, trot the first pole, walk the second pole, trot the third pole, and go to the left. Now, you other demonstrators are going to have to be very careful about not piling up on each other, because Trot the first pole, walk the second pole, trot the third pole, turn left. And then space yourselves out so you each can do it. Not one at a time, one right after the other, but don't run into each other. And now you're keeping the rhythm. Soft hand, let him find his way. Position, give. And trotting the last. Very good. Well done. Left turn. Trotting, position, and give. And think, Claire, don't get your seat so far back that you can't give again. Give and walk and give. Very good, Becky. Head up. Don't let him get that head down. And walk and give and walk. That's it. And the next time, Carly, you'll make a right turn. Good, and Carly, you can hold up. Good, Claire. I keep getting the impression that you're in front of the motion. Good, that's better, keeping his head a little bit up. Good. And now they had a little break. They did that real well, so I like to see now, just to continue the warm-up, a little right lead canter. A little right lead canter, and when you come around the next time, you just canter these 3 rails on the ground, and then you're going to bring them back to the trot and left lead canter. Now I'm on purpose not telling them how many strides to do. I'm not really very interested in how many strides to do between the 2 rails. We'll see what happens with each of the horses. We'll see how the riders handle it. Great, back to the trot and a left turn. Good. Left turn and back to the trot. Back to the trot and left turn, Becky. Becky, be very careful that horse doesn't root you forward, because if he roots you forward, you lose all your leverage, and then you can't keep your balance. We'll go the other direction through it now, left lead. Very good. Good. One more time. Let's get the left lead and do it again. Carly, you wait till the end. Claire, you go ahead. Light hand, Claire. Rhythm. Rhythm. Give. Good. Very good. Claire, you let him walk. Good. Becky, you let him walk. Very good. Now, we didn't talk at all about strides. We'll give him a little break. We didn't talk at all about strides, but everybody ended up doing 3 strides and 3 strides. We have a big variety of horses, but that's just what it comes out to. And that worked all right. If your pace and rhythm is okay, you're going to end up with 3 strides and 3 strides. Now, we're not going to do it today because I want to get to jumping technique and some of the things we work on. But this, with your young horses, is a super exercise. What I would do, we did this with 3 strides and 3 strides because of the size of the indoor ring. If you have a bigger ring, add 12 more feet approximately, or 24 more feet, and practice 5 strides, 5 strides, 5 strides, 5 strides. That's a great way for you to get the rhythm and make sure you have the horse carrying you. You should be able to do that in your sleep. That it all came up perfectly natural for each of you. So add 24 more feet and do 5 and 5. That's a lot easier than 3 and 3. And then you can start to work your horses where you do 6 strides and 6 strides, or 7 strides and 7 strides. And any of you around the show have seen that Beezy or many of our students will do this exercise to get ready for the biggest competition there is. There's no reason why your horses can't start to learn it right away. Again, keep it very easy. Keep it very simple. Start at the walk, go to the trot, transitions, then out of a normal rhythm. But once they get the normal rhythm well, then you can start to add strides. And then sooner or later, without taking a lot out of your horse, you can do this exercise with 3 strides and 5 strides. This very exercise. We're not going to do it today, but you can do that. Your horse can get up to that and do that really well, and that helps you have the control you need to jump the sophisticated courses that we now have in jumping. Do you think we ought to move that rail the first time, or let them do it that way the first time? I think they're pretty good at that. Yeah. So with our young horses, and even with our older horses, I saw Catherine Strauss here a minute ago, and I think Callie was here, 2 of our students. They'll tell you we do a lot of gymnastic work to work on the horse's confidence, on the shape of the jump, on their cadence, on their rhythm, so that the horses can, it's really, a gymnastic is a really good exercise to have the horses be able to do things in a very regular way. So I think they've walked enough now. We're going to, one at a time, we'll start with Carly, then Claire, then Becky. Right turn, you're going to trot the trot rail 1 step. You're going to trot over the X. And then I'm going to want to be very, when we do exercises are exaggerations. The control after the fence is hugely important, because the control after each fence is the beginning of the approach to the next fence. So your job is not done when you've released your horse over this X. You make them canter away, they carry you, you get position, and you make a nice full halt at the end. Okay, we'll get to the exciting stuff. We're going to do some jumping. And now your concern is the rhythm at the trot. Rhythm at the trot, attempt to be straight to this X and try not to interfere with your horse. It's okay, a little stick once, that's it. Now turn right and come back to it. Now you're not going to let him stop again. Very good. Keep the release, get the position, and halt. Very good. Next one. And this is just the beginning, scratching the surface of jumping, but this teaches your horse to go to the jump in a rhythm, not rush, not back off. Position and halt. Claire, I need to see a release at the X. I don't want the automatic release. I don't want contact. Your horse has to feel the liberty to jump on his own. Little stick once, that's it. Once is enough. And come back. Right turn and come back. Posting. Very good. And I want to see more of a release at the jump and strong position for the halt. Now, Beezy's going to help you a second. Do a demonstration of the rooting there in the position. Everybody watch this. what's happening to Becky is a common mistake, and you see her, what happened with her leg. So every time you pivot at the knee and let your leg go back in that halt, you're actually teaching your horse to pull more and root more. Okay? Let's do this one more time so it's nice and smooth. And I want you demonstrators to try your best to keep it simple. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Just guide your horse, release, let him find his way. Good. Eyes up, let your horse jump to you. Next. This is very simple. Very, very simple. Make the release. Make much better. Much better. Steer, rhythm, drop. Very good. Leg forward, seat forward, shoulders back. Brace that heel down. Don't let him root you. Very good. Now we have very simple. It's the same distance here. It's a little bit different. Look to it. And we're going to come, we go one time right, one time left. Now we're going to do the small double. And now what we're looking for, everybody, is first forward. First, the horse has to go over the X and then the vertical. That's the first thing. First things first. Don't run. Rhythm. 1, 2, 1, 2. Eyes up. Make him go. Make him go. Make him go. Okay. Now, we're going to try to be a little bit smart here. One little tap with the stick, Carly. And Beezy and I are going to help you. Circle around. First things first, the horse has to go. Before we can work on the technique, before we can work on anything, the horse has to go. So Beezy and I will be wings. Very good. And your exercise is not done. Good. Good job. Next. Very good. And position. Good. And I'm going to watch you, Becky. I don't want this horse rooting you forward after the jump. Very good. And the construction of this gymnastic, we have a ground line. These foam ground lines are good. The distance is a simple distance for the horse. Let's do it again. And now we can expect, even though we made it a little higher, that doesn't matter much. Very good. Give, 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 position, halt. Now your horse, wait 1 second, please, Claire. Your horse is a little timid about those things the first time. So one of the crucial things for you, you can keep a little contact to make sure the horse is going straight enough to get to the fence. But you have to let him know it's good when he goes. And how do you let him know when it's good when he goes? release the mouth, and keep your balance with him. Good, Claire? Now, Claire, I want you to think about your balance and your release. Release, release, and try not to get ahead. Very good. Position, very good. And what we should see is the horses getting confidence, not nervous. Very good. Very good. And now we're going to go to this one. Let him walk. And we have two different combinations because at the level, again, these horses are at varying levels. I know Claire's horse is pretty advanced for this, but we're going to be able to see more out of her horse, what our goals are. Out of your horse, Carly, if we just get through it and he stays calm and does it all right and doesn't turn this into a difficult thing, that's a major win. In your horse, if he stays straight and goes through, that's a major win. And with Claire's horse, we're going to see if we can see a little bit where we influence maybe the technique a little bit, or make sure, or maybe do it a little bit bigger, and see how things finally shape up. So that's a great thing that we have these different horses. So because these horses are green enough, Claire is going to go last. Okay? And Carly and Becky, you're going to do this and introduce this different gymnastic without an oxer the first time. I don't want to take the risk of the back pole, so you're going to go third, Claire, this time. Yes. Now, you know, I didn't really comment. When your horse stopped at I think you have to be really careful. I think showing them different things is good, but I'd rather do a progression. Why don't we table that question a little bit and see what happens? Now, this is different, but we have a simple progression, the trot pole, the X, and a vertical. So let's see what happens. Maybe we should have showed it to him. I don't know. Let's see. Rhythm, release, release. Pretty good. Pretty good. Now, 1 second before you go. So that horse didn't make a great jump at B. You know, it shot over it a little bit. Do I care that it jumps a perfect jump at B right now? No, it went. That's a real victory. Okay, I'm not saying your horse is a problem, but that's step one. Now, next time, we're going to put the oxer in. And if he goes through it, great. Then we're going to start to see how he does it. Understand what you're doing. Right now, we just want to go from A to C without stopping at B. And then we make it better. Very good. Head up. Head up. Make the release. Very good. But I'm going to be very hard on you, Becky. You didn't help your horse at B there, did you? Because your balance wasn't good? Yeah. What did Beezy, what did she tell you? She told you when your leg slides forward, your seat goes back and you get rooted, right? So you have to think of that heel down and back, that you can stay with your horse. That leg shoots forward, the seat goes back, and he pulls you forward. And then to try to avoid that, you try to get stiff, and you end up catching him in the mouth. I'm predicting this horse is more advanced, just because of the age. I think it's a green 8-year-old, but I'm guessing it can do the oxer the first time. But still, basics. Get through it. Good. And what's starting to come out now is the microscopic defects in the seat and legs is showing up with ducking, getting stiff, not being able to stay exactly with the balance. We talked about you over the rails of the ground getting a little ahead, huh? So then you have to try to stay exactly with the balance. Have a little faith and trust in your horse. And I want you thinking about your balance through there, that you're exactly with the horse. Okay, Becky, now we progress from the vertical to the oxer. And, oh, Carly, you wait a minute. Okay, that's all right. Heel down and back. Heel down and back. Get in your 2-point now. Get in your 2-point, in your 2-point, in your 2-point. Take the mane. Take the mane. Don't catch that horse in the mouth. Good job. I can't tell you how many Grand Prix and maybe Olympics Beezy came out of the ring with hands full of mane in her. Right, Bees? Is taking the mane a beginner thing? No. Eyes up. Very good. So how did he jump that oxer? Kind of shot out from underneath her, huh? That's all right. That's all right. We're going to give him another chance to do it better now. Now, Carly, do you think you can trust your horse a little bit more to do it now? Yeah, so think about only your grip with your leg, your balance, and let your horse jump to you. Do it again, Carly, only. When we train horses and when we train people every day, with him, trust him. Good. I think that was a better jump. Do we care about that that's his best jump? No, it's not going to be his best jump. We're going to get that sometime down the road. What we have to care about is what we're doing as we get there. Now, Claire, I'd like you to do this triple. And your whole idea is going to be to keep your balance and keep the release through there, so that your horse has its possibility to jump its best jump. I was saying, we have an obligation. I have an obligation to my clients and to my horses every day that I get better, because I'm selling things. I'm charging them money for it. I have to try to get better. Very good. Claire, you forgot the exercise. What did we say? After each fence is the beginning of the approach to the next fence. This is not the exercise. The exercise ends with the halt. Next. Perfect practice. None of us can practice perfectly, but we can try to. And make the release. You're all right. You forgot the exercise. Oh, just because you had a little bobble, you're going to forget the exercise? No, do the exercise. And you're going to come right back to it. You're going to come right back to it. Remember, step one is to get through. Put a little rhythm, put a little leg on your horse after you jump the vertical. And don't forget the exercise. Super. Very, very good. And now Carly's up. Safety first. I know this horse is a little timid. We're not going to show the horse the fence, but we're going to make it that if something goes wrong, it's not treacherous. Very good. Excellent. And Carly, finish the exercise and you'll come back over this with the oxer. Thanks. and finish the exercise. Very good. Good. Now, Becky, I want you to do this triple one more time without me standing there. Yeah. Very, very good. Good. And let him walk. Now, Claire, I'm going to have you wait. I'm going to have you wait. Carly, we're going to do this other. Here's our exercise now. Your horse has done this one. Do you think you can trust him a little bit more now at it? So you're going to do this exercise off the left, halt. Turn right, you're going to do the other gymnastic and halt. So you're going to do 2 in a row. Now what we're going to start to see, I hope, is that the horse gets more and more confidence, and that Carly's going to be able to do it with less and less influence, that she's going to be able to just not rush him off the ground here. Rhythm, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And she's going to let the horse jump, release, 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 make the halt. Very good. I would say the vertical and the oxer there were 2 of its better jumps. It tends to want to jump past the fences a little bit, but that's all right. The first thing we have to do is make sure it's confident enough to go through and do it without being nervous about stopping. Then we can start to worry about how it does it. Very good. Wow, the ox in the middle was really good. And you could see it even started to back up a little bit without hesitating at the last vertical, right, Carly? Did that feel pretty good? Good. Now we're going to go with you, Becky, the same exercise that Carly just did. And you've really got to think, Beezy, give her a little couple tips about her position through there to help her.
I think try to keep your hips forward over the pommel of the saddle in the air, and a little bend in your knee. And that'll help with your not put your seat too far back.
Not so far out of it. You can get in your 2-point now and stay close to the saddle. Much better. And don't let him root you. You've got to brace that leg and shoulders back. And Becky, you're going to do that off the right, the other gymnastic, but I want you to get in your 2-point sooner. And in your 2-point, your seat doesn't have to be very far out of the saddle. Your heel has to be down, your leg has to stay back where it belongs, and your seat over the pommel. Bend your knee, get in your 2-point. Now, 2-point. That's it. Hold that. Eyes up. Balance. Very good. Now let's go up 2 with that vertical. And we're going to go up 2 with this back rail just. And you're going to stay patient for a minute, Claire. Very good. We're going to finish up with Carly and Becky, and we're going to try to illustrate something. If the horses are confident enough now and doing this well enough, we can start to work a little bit on some of the skills they need to jump the different jumps. So you're going to do left to this. You're going to stay very patient at the vertical, let them jump it, And then I want to see a slight override at the oxer. It's the very beginnings of starting to teach the horse to stretch out over the oxer. And then right after they've done that, we're going to link the exercises together. And you're going to do sort of the opposite here. The approach is the same. Rhythm, 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 patient, patient, patient. That oxer is easy in the middle. We're not going to change that. We've raised that vertical and moved the ground line in. And we're going to see if we can make him make a little bit of a backward jump at the out. This is just starting to teach the horses the beginnings of the skills of what they need to jump the different types of obstacles. And you're going to help all the auditors and see if it works, you're also going to give a little off the ground. So she's going to encourage her horse forward over the out there, and she's going to encourage her horse to wait at the out at the last one. The first three parts of the gymnastic are all set up for the pièce de résistance, teaching her horse to stretch. You have to be patient here. Let him jump. Let him jump. And a little. Good. And this horse has a pretty good natural instinct to go quick forward over the fence. So let's see how he does here. Now you're going to do the opposite. The setup is exactly the same, Carly. Rhythm, patient, rhythm, patient, rhythm, patient, balance. And then you're going to open your hips slightly and say ho before the vertical. Ho. All right. He could have done that better. Go up 2. So he touched it. So we're not going to give him a freebie. And he's going to do it directly right away again. Maybe he learned a little bit of something from that. Let's see. From your point of view, this makes no difference. A gymnastic is poles or obstacles that when the horse does it right, it gets easier. Rhythm, and let him slow down. Pretty good. I liked it. Can we go down 2 again? I think that's enough for you for today, Carly. Very good. He slowed down a little bit. He made a better jump, but he wasn't sticking or hesitating. Now, Becky, we're going to do the same pattern with you, and you have to be really thinking about helping your horse by fundamental position and balance and not letting him root you. Up in your 2-point. Now. 2-point. Keep your seat close, heel and leg. Very good. And you see that horse went from being a little bit shy to actually, it looked to me, Becky, that he responded very well to a little leg and a little pressure to come out. Very good. And now you're going to do the X to the oxer. And then you're going to try to stay patient, eyes up, and let the horse jump back to you a little bit for the vertical. Get that heel down. Good. Once more. And don't forget, the exercise finishes with the halt. Once more, just the oxer vertical gymnastic. Up in your 2-point. Keep your seat close. Pretty good. Let's go up 2, and we're going to do it once more. So far, what I'm seeing is he's not really getting the idea of waiting here, huh? But that, again, that kind of, I don't want to be mean, but you have to work on your position because you're influencing him in ways you don't want to. So now I want you to really think about keeping your balance and letting him jump backwards to you at the last obstacle. So this isn't always, it doesn't always go perfect, but this is going well. Tummy in. Wait for him. Wait for him. Very good. That was his best jump. Very good. Becky, I think that's enough for him today. He still rooted you the very last time. So I want you to go to bed thinking tonight about him not rooting you. Okay. Claire, now we're going to work a little more because I want the audience to see how we can affect their jump a little bit. And you're going to start with this. I think he's ready for it. Start with this, and exactly like we were talking about with the others, stay patient, rhythm at the vertical, stay patient, rhythm at the X, the vertical, and a little help out, a little push out. Right turn, do the other, rhythm, and see if he'll wait a little bit for the vertical. So I'm thinking that this horse is a little further advanced, that we're going to be able to demonstrate a little bit more the reaction, and you'll be able to see a little bit better how we're starting to teach the horses about how to negotiate the different obstacle. Here, rhythm, and then a little pressure. Good jump. A little sticky off the ground there, Claire. I want to see a little more pressure and a little cluck off the ground at the oxer, because the horse didn't leave the ground really strong enough. So you're going to repeat that. You're going to repeat this one because the horse wasn't quick enough off the ground at the oxer and wasn't taking you out of the gymnastic. Here you have to stay patient. Rhythm. And now leg. There, I think that was better. Why don't we go up? What, 2 or 3, what do you think? And a little wider. Yeah, and now the next is the vertical. You're going to try to stay very patient, keep the rhythm, patient rhythm. Let him jump the oxer and see if he will slow down a little bit and make a good jump at the vertical without rushing. And wait. Very good. So what I'm seeing now from this horse is this is more his forte. This is what I would want to work on a little bit more. So we're going to repeat this, and we're going to just change the distance a little bit. We're going to widen this a little bit, and we're going to go up 3 with the back pole only. Well, let's just do this, see what happens. So what we're going to do then is change this distance again so it matches. So because I think this horse needs to cross the oxer a little better, you're going to stay very, very patient, Claire, at the X. And once you land and are ready to address the blue oxer, you're going to override, a little override there, and this is going to come natural to her. Him, her, I don't know, to back up at this vertical. And then, since it's not her strong point, we're going to finish with the other gymnastics. So do this off the right, and we're going to, I think that's all right. And we're going to encourage a bold jump at the blue. And you're going to help her by not rushing out of the turn. Rhythm, rhythm, rhythm. More rhythm, that's too slow. Rhythm. And you're going to just let her jump, and now leg. And then wait. Very good. This she can do all day long, the vertical coming out. That's a little bit sloppy in the halt. You have to relax the arm first and don't let her root you. And especially after you ask for the bold jump out of the oxer, with the green and yellow oxer, you have to relax your arm, get position, and make a good halt. That's your rhythm. Now let's see what kind of jump she makes coming out. Patient, and now. Very good. I think that was your best oxer coming out. How did that feel? You started to tell me about what was going to happen, and I cut you off, but that's all right, because I wanted you to see it for yourself. Did you see it for yourself? Very good. Okay. Super. I hope that illustrated a little bit, and I cannot say this enough. I don't care what level your horse is. Try not to take steps backwards. We took half a step backwards one time. We took half a step backwards one time. What did we do? We tried to make sure not to take 2 steps backwards. And did you feel like you ended up with a few steps forward at the end of the day? Good. Becky, did you? Good. Listen, if we get a little better every day, we're going to get somewhere. And that's really important. Any behavior that's increasing means you're rewarding that behavior. That's it. It doesn't get more complicated than that. If this horse is rooting more, it's because you're rewarding it. If a horse is stopping more, it's because you're rewarding it. If a horse, every time you leave it alone on the cross ties, starts pawing, and you run back to the cross ties and hit him really hard, if the next time you leave he starts pawing again, that means hitting him was a reward. He got your attention, right? I mean, you have to be able to understand that. I'm not saying anybody hits their horse in a bad way or something, but you go and you smack him and you say, bad horse. Well, he just trained you to come back to him. You didn't train him to stop pawing on the cross ties. So that goes to every single thing. And you guys, believe it or not, what I'm talking about the shape of the jump and the confidence going to the jump and the reaction, you had to get your horse to react forward a little bit. I don't care if you're getting ready for the Olympic Games. It's the same. It's the same thing. Every horse needs to work on what's harder for it. It needs to be rewarded and given confidence what's easy for it. It doesn't get more complicated, folks. That's that simple. Okay, I think that was good for today. Claire, did you feel like your horse got something out of that? Good. I want to say thank you very much to the demonstrators and thank you very much, really good auditors, and we'll get ready for the next session.
We'll just take you over here quickly for a quick picture. Just line up on the other side of the red and white rail.